All right. So the first thing I want to jump into is Johnny Somali being back. Now, some of you have already seen this. Some of you already have watched this, but we're going to get into his first video back. Now, one of the questions that people asked me about this was, how is he streaming? Like logistically. They said, well, didn't they take all of his equipment? How is he streaming? Well, two things. They took his equipment. The police took Johnny Somali's equipment. They took his phones and I believe some of his cameras as well. But they took them for the purpose of evidence. They didn't take them thinking they're going to permanently ban him from picking up another phone ever, and they didn't explicitly ban him from picking up another phone ever. What prevents him is, or what legal side of it is his visa, or really lack thereof, a work visa. We'll talk about that in a second. But they didn't take Hank's phones. They didn't take phones from stores. They didn't go to every store in Seoul and confiscate every phone or every camera, etc. He could go out there and legally purchase another phone or a camera, and technically he can start recording whatever he wants. His phones that were taken for evidence purposes, not because they thought that the taking of that alone was going to prevent him from streaming. I hope that clarifies. And to be very clear, as we're going to see, he is clearly in Hank's apartment, because of course we called this months ago that they were clearly cuddle buddies, and it's now visually confirmed for us. It's not just me saying it, right, or people that know saying it, or clear confirmations from Hank, who said that I am with Johnny. We showed that a stream or two ago. It's not just words. We see in visual clarity that he is in the exact same location as Hank. They're together in Hank's love shack in Seoul, doing all these shenanigans, right? So he posted to a YouTube channel. Now, here's the thing. This is clearly ban evasion, because he is banned off of YouTube. So he is trying to pop up on another channel and stream. So clearly there's some ban evasion going on there. YouTube, I'm sure we'll get on it. I'm sure he'll get nuked on YouTube soon enough. If it's not already happened, it'll happen soon enough. My understanding is that his intention was to stream on Party and or Rumble, but neither one of those have great monetization. So everybody wants to be on a bigger platform like YouTube, like Twitch, like Kick, because the monetization is better on those platforms. Of course, Kick is a platform that has permanently banned him, and they've said they're not going to let him back, period. And that's been said by, people within Kick, the staff themselves, privately. It's also been said publicly by a lot of the streamers, including the people he's trying to get banned, including people like the Ice Poseidon crew in Japan, right? They've all said, yeah, he's banned from Kick. And I had people messaging me. Xena messaged me, who's one of the girls who, confronted him in Hongdae. She said, hey, look, he's banned. And she even went as far as saying he's banned in CX as well, even mentioning him, even dropping my video link was too much, right? They don't even want my video criticizing Johnny because they don't want anything to do with him. It's like full term ban, like Johnny Somali, good, bad, nothing, that you can't talk about this guy, period. He's gone. He's completely purged, right? So there's a lot of folks that have disassociated with them, and he is salty about that. Let's play that. Everyone's blowing up over that now.
Hello to the people of Japan and the people of the world. I want to make this message because I've been gone for a long time. Let me introduce myself if you don't know me already. I am Johnny Somali. I am part of the criminal nuisance live streamer gang called CX. I am a high-ranking member in the black sheep of the family. We are ran by our top leader, Ice Poseidon. He's the leader of CX, and Miss Kiff, the leader of OTK. We are part of a live streaming
Okay, so let me correct something right here. Okay, so he is not part of CX. He's been banned from CX. So he is so just to be very clear, he is not allowed as part of that. If you mention him, you will get banned. In fact, I saw the screen cap of Johnny Somali getting banned, like any talk of Johnny Somali being banned from that. So this is this is so now, was he at some point? That's different, but currently that's not true. Another question I got, and this is a very good one, is what is this flag? So people were questioning what this flag is. because people kept saying, oh, it's not China and it's not North Korea. Well, people didn't know China enough. So I'm going to pull up a separate article here just so you guys see it and to confirm it. This is the official flag of the People's Liberation Army. I'll just pull up the wiki on this. But you can see here the war flag and the naval jack created in 1949 for the PLA by the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, at the start of the rebellion in Nanchang against the nationalist government. So boom, there you go. Actually, it was created in it was a reference to events in August 1st, 1927, which is 8/1, right? So 8th month, August 1st, 8th month, first day, right? So 8/1. So that is the PLA flag. So people were confused. They were saying it wasn't the Chinese flag. Well, it's not the main flag, but it's the PLA flag. So that should correct a lot of questions, because that was a very common question in the comments of that video. Okay, let's continue here.
High-ranking member and the black sheep of the family.
He is not a high-ranking member. He's not a member at all.
We are ran by our top leader, Ice Poseidon.
So we're going to get into, I'm going to let this play a little bit, but there are these photos in these notices. Now, these were created under very interesting circumstances, and I'm going to tell you about them in a second, because I've done some digging and some investigation, and this does tie in. And today we are going to cover the Japanese streamers, the Japanese nuisance streamers, because this is the Somali case is beginning to tie up with them, because Somali is trying to salt them. He's trying to get them stopped. He's trying to shut down all nuisance streaming because, as he says, if he can't do it, he doesn't want anybody to do it. CX, he's pointing to, this is Misgift and this is Ice Poseidon. So he's pointing to those two as the ringleaders, trying to put it on them. Once again, both of them have put distance from Johnny Somali, have disowned him. When slightly homeless, tried to call him. They said, hang up. This guy's an embarrassment. We don't want anything to do with him. That's what they've said. It's up to you guys to be your own judge as to how you feel about that. I have people in the comments that say, yeah, they're to blame. And there's people that say, well, they don't want nothing to do with him, so that's good enough for me. I don't think they're to blame anymore. That's up to you. I'm not telling you what to think. You make your own decision. Be your own judge.
He's the leader of CX and Misgift, the leader of OTK. We are part of a live streaming international criminal mafia of nuisance streamers that have came to Japan. So this is I'm going to show you guys the detailed version of this. So we're going to get into it because I've got the blown up version of this. And this is something that I believe he printed off of Twitter, or alternatively, he may have created it. And we'll talk about this, or somebody may have created this. So we'll talk about it. Somebody non-Japanese may have created this. To bring you freedom, to bring you American values. You weak Japs will never stop us. You will never stop CX. You will never stop Johnny Somali. You will never stop Ice Poseidon, Paul Danino, who is my mentor, my teacher, my leader. So he's doxing him there. I mean, his name has already been doxed, right? So it's not like Ice hasn't been doxed, before, and people don't know his information. But once again, it's different when you see people doing it intentionally, right? You see people saying this, very, very intentionally. He's saying it knowing that it can get him in trouble, knowing that, he wants them to have people coming for him, right? He's trying to do these things. He's trying to make these things happen. Leader. If it was not for Ice Poseidon, I would have never came to Japan. And if you try to arrest Ice Poseidon, if you try to stop Paul Danino or any of our group. See, he's being ironic here. He's trying, if you try to stop them, that's what he wants. He wants them to try to stop him, to try to stop him. That's exactly what he wants. If you try to stop ABZ Abdullah, the terrorist, the one that paid for all of our kick deals and steak deals, if you try to stop ABZ Abdullah, this fat fuck, I promise you I'll be back in Japan soon. You'll never. Okay, so real quick, I want to be very clear. And by the way, shout out to the Deserto or Dexerto or however you say it. I know they told me to say it was Deserto, but Dexerto. But anyways, they had a good article and they quoted me on this. They quoted my video, which is awesome. By the way, we're going to be watching an infographic at the end of this on the Johnny Somali case that I'm in. And I'm going to be telling you what's kind of true and what's not true, what's accurate and not accurate. But the article got this correct, that Johnny Somali cannot enter Japan because he is a criminal in Japan.
So he is banned for 5 years. So he has a hard ban for 5 years. If he goes to the airport, they won't even give him a ticket to go there. And even if they did give him a ticket somehow through a mistake or whatever else, the second he got to Japanese immigration, he'd be bounced. He'd be detained until he got a new flight, and he wouldn't be able to get into Japan. He wouldn't get past the airport. So Johnny Somali cannot come to Japan. So this threat is an empty, impotent threat. He cannot come to Japan. In 5 years, he is highly likely to be irrelevant and or in jail.
Stop Kang Joel. You'll never stop Hugh Sama, Showtime, and all these fucking leeches.
So a real important point here is this little thing, it has a lot of the kick streamers on it, including him, but it also had his friend Slightly Homeless. He doesn't mention Slightly Homeless. He leaves him out because he is his buddy. He's his bro. So he's going through talking about them names and talking about who they are and kind of doxing some of them, saying their full names. But he doesn't talk about his friend. So clearly he's trying to target those that he doesn't like in here to get them in trouble.
We will destroy Japan. And I promise you, if you arrest any of them, if you stop any of them, if you attack any of them, I will come back to Japan. And
he cannot. So this is once again, an impotent threat. This is the same type of threat as with the streamers in Japan. If you remember the streamer Gagan TV, who got his ass kicked by the Japanese guys with the bottle, that video we reviewed on a live, which was great. And the clip of that, by the way, is up under my videos tab. That guy, is exactly the same sort of fake tough guy as Johnny. They make threats they can't back up. Gagan was like, yeah, these guys are a bunch of betas. They won't fight us. And literally 2 seconds later, he's running away, crying, screaming like a little girl as the guy beats him up, right? And chases him with a bottle. Same thing with Johnny here. He's saying, I'm going to come get you. And he's not even going to try to leave the country because, first of all, he can't leave Korea. That's another thing. He can't leave Korea. He probably won't be able to leave until 2026 at this point. And I'm not joking. The most likely, the earliest he leaves Korea is 2026. So you don't got to worry about him. He's on the island Korea right now for the unforeseen future. So therefore, I think this is completely impotent. He's making a threat he has no ability to back up.
I will bring.
However, I forgot to mention this. What I think his plan is, and this is something that I can now percolate. I can now talk about. I think his plan is to try to disrupt the kick streamers when they come to Korea. Let me say it again. I think he's going to try to cause an incident for clout when they come to Korea because he wants the attention. He wants whatever. So when they come to Korea, because most likely they're going to need to renew their visas at some point because they're trying to be 100 days in Japan. They can only spend 90. They're going to have to come to Korea. I think Busan. They'll probably take the boat, right? Because that's better streaming content than a plane. They'll come over on the boat, and he'll try to create some sort of incident when they get there. I think that might happen. I think that's the plan. All of them may come. Some of them may come. I think all of them will come because they all will need to renew their visas. None of them have legal long-term visas in Japan. None of them. So they're going to have to come there. So he may try to interrupt them or attack them or do something for clout. Particularly, joined by his lover boy and other disruptors. So that's going to be the content, as the kids call it, right? Whenever they're annoying and abrasive and screaming and calling each other, all sorts of ad hominems, that's content for them, right? That's content, peak content.
Back vengeance. Remember how there was 2 atomic bombs? Remember how there was.
So now he's doing the same thing. By the way, that's exactly what pissed off the Japanese people. He is referencing the bombing of Japan. He's trying to do this once again. As a reminder, he went around Japan in general, Tokyo, Osaka, other places, with speakers spamming text to speech Hiroshima, Nagasaki on the metro, outdoors, everywhere in Japan.
Hiroshima and Nagasaki, I was the little boy. CX is the fat man. They came to bring revenge for locking me up and falsely.
They don't care. So CX is glad he's getting locked up. at this point. They want him to go to jail. Most people openly wish him to go to jail at this point. They want him to be locked up. I think I was talking with Zena, and she was like, yeah, I want him to go to jail. I'm like, yeah, okay, so do I. Cool, we're on the same team. So most people at this point who are streamers, who are kick streamers, want him to be put away because he's a bad example, and he's setting a bad example for all of them and dragging all of them down. If he's not punished, if he's allowed to go free, and particularly if he's allowed back on Kick, he's going to create a horrible image for that platform. So yes, I'm not making it a definitive statement here. I'm just saying that from what I've heard of streams, for example, in the stream where Slightly Homeless called Ice Poseidon said it himself. He said, we don't want nothing to do with that guy. That's what I said. That's what Suspended said. That's what all the other people that were there said. I think Sam Pepper was there too. They all said it. So it wasn't just one of them saying we want nothing to do with Johnny. It was more of them.
And locking up Louis X. Japan. It's fucking CX till I fucking die. You dumbass.
So this, in case you guys don't know, this is not the current Japanese flag. This is the Imperial War flag. It's the battle flag, the Rising Sun flag. So it's not really the current like national flag of Japan. So he's using he's intentionally trying to be inflammatory. I mean, mind you, he's standing behind a PLA flag. He's using this as his background, the Chinese People Liberation Army flag, because him and his roomie / possible lover Hank are currently praising China, praising the CCP and Xi Jinping, and they're trash talking South Korea and trash talking Koreans in general as a race. And they're currently promoting the superiority of Chinese. That's what both Johnny and Hank are doing currently.
Motherfuckers, Japan, suck our suckers. Us streamers, we run your fucking country.
No, they do not. No, they do not.
And make sure
there's no chat, by the way. This was pre-recorded, so him saying CX in the chat is it's pretty brain dead.
Mizkif, this is the leader of OTK. This is the top general. These are the two top leaders. This is the CX vice president and the president right here. You need to get Mizkif and you need to get Paul Denino Ice Poseidon. Nigga, CX in the motherfucking chat. I love you, Paul Denino. You're my mentor, my leader, everything.
See that smiling? He's like trolling. He knows he's trolling here.
Sayonara. Please fuck up Japan for me. I'll be back soon.
He will not be back soon at all. So that's his first video. So we're going to be breaking down some elements of this. So let's talk about what some of the suspicious stuff. So one thing I wanted to bring up was this list. So we see this list over here with Johnny. Let me just share this window with you and you'll be able to see it here. Okay. So he has this list of streamers. You guys can see it here, right? So here's it is. Here's a list of streamers. So this is a document that it was circulating widely across the internet. And what got me curious was where the hell did this come from? So I looked over, and Asmongold even reviewed a video looking at this. He actually reviewed this video from Drama Alert, right? So Drama Alert posted this. So Japanese citizens have released a wanted poster for kick streamers. And so you see here the list in this. And then you get the name of the account, which is Yamazu Korisha, right? So I went and tracked that down, and I tracked down the what was the original posting on Twitter. Now, this is something you got to be very careful of. With Twitter, you never know who's who. You never know who creates an account. And actually, related to Johnny Somali and a lot of these people, there have been a lot of fake accounts. There have been a lot of people that are not in the country that they're in, saying they're in that country. This is a huge problem for Japan. There's been a massive problem for Japan. There are several Twitter accounts that know that Japanese content, because Japan is trending, so many tourists are going to Japan. Japan, actually, fun fact, has passed Thailand in the amount of tourists. And that's not because no tourists are going to Thailand. That's because so many people are going to Japan. They're overwhelmed. That is an insane number of people. Their tourist infrastructure does not have the capacity to service those people in the high traffic spots. The problem is Japanese tourists are not spreading out. They're not going to the Inaka, the countryside, right? They're not going to the countryside. They're going to Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, and that's it. Maybe one or two other places, but they're just going, and now they're in Sapporo. Everyone's there for the snow festival. Their infrastructure is really not built for that many people, and they're kind of overwhelmed. Their police are overwhelmed. Their public services are overwhelmed. The transit networks are overwhelmed. And that's a real big problem. But people see that and they create these X accounts pretending they're Japanese. The thing is, it's pretty clear when, especially for native Japanese, when people are LARPing or pretending to be Japanese, and they may or may not actually be Japanese. So I ended up going to this profile, ended up talking to this individual behind the scenes, and they claim they have not said whether they're of Japanese nationality. And my thought is they're probably not. They say they have friends and family in Japan, but they communicated to me entirely in English, but then they proceeded to tell me that their English wasn't so good. So I'm confused because they have this thing here. They posted this. This is where Drama Alert got it from. But when you see one of the posts, I think it's this one. Hold on, I'll show it to you. Yeah, here it is. A Japanese person is questioning their posts because it's a new account. It's a very new account. And they're saying here, who are you? You're clearly not Japanese. Your Japanese text seems very odd. Your text may be based on English translated into Japanese using a machine translator. Who the heck are you and what is your purpose? And they make a misspelling there because probably they're, once again, Japanese. So they're trying to translate it over. So whether or not this person is Japanese is out there. And the other thing that's very interesting is that Johnny is not currently a Kick streamer. So I think the reason why they included Johnny in this is for the sensational amount. Johnny is the black sheep. Johnny is the worst one here. And obviously they included him because he's going to get people pissed off because they're going to all associate them with Johnny. So this is something that to an extent Johnny Somali might want to put out himself. So I'm not saying Johnny put this out, but somebody could have put this out who was affiliated with Johnny or whatever else. And I'm not sure whether this person created this or they got this or whatever else. But here you go. It's got the listing of all these people: Johnny Somali, Ice Poseidon, Tamin 1998, ABZ, Slightly Homeless, King Joel, Hyob Sama, Showtime, Sam Pepper, Lord Hito, Gagan TV. He's the one who got his ass kicked. Murat Style. And then we've got over here the second page, which is Ice Poseidon, Lord Hito, and Gagan TV right here. So that's the Japanese streamers well right there. So you've got that one as well. So whether or not this is like the origins of this, it kind of peaked a little flag for me. Once again, the person says they want Johnny to go to jail. So I said, okay, cool. That's what I want too. But we'll see. Yeah. Yeah, Suspendus is not on that list. Yes. Okay. So one thing I want to point out here, let's go to this little tabby tab. So we have over here Johnny with the flag, right? So you have Johnny with the flag. And you see clearly the flag here, the PLA flag, right? So we're going to scroll up here on my page, and we're going to go to our good boy Hanky Poo.
No, this.
Okay. So here's Hanky Poo. And this is once again one of Hanky Poo's videos where he is smashing Korea. He's trash talking Korea in favor of the CCP. I want you to pay attention to the flag that's behind him.
You know what? Fuck this. That's more like it, right?
Wow. Guys, that looks really familiar. That flag and the positioning, even the cabinet, even in certain frames, you see there's a photo here. When he moves around, you'll be able to see it better. But there's a photo that matches up. It's really weird how that matches perfectly. Even the roof here, like everything, the roof cut tile color. Wow, it's almost like they're in the same room.
Hell yeah. 向前向前向前我们的队伍
So this is, I'm not going to play his bad singing, but this is Hank simping for the CCP here in a very embarrassing manner. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Also, some other really sad stuff, which is totally cringe. There's another video here of Hank with his baton. Now I say this one's more relevant because Hank in Discord, let me see if this one's going to play. There you go. So Hank has said that he's going to bring weapons and he's going to confront the other streamers. So he's actually said he's going to confront the Korean streamers with weapons. So apparently he has his little baton, his little love stick here, and he waves it around and tries to act tough with it. And he claims he's going to bring the baton and smash everybody's head in, beat their brains out with this baton. By the way, this right here, he was disarmed in like 15 seconds by random Koreans. In fact, it was a Korean girl, I believe, who disarmed him. So, I mean, for tough fighter Hank, who says he's going to smash Dalagoon's head in, getting disarmed in 15 seconds. That's great. It's totally cringe. It's completely cringe. Yeah, he dances around with it. It's really embarrassing. I'm not going to play it. He's playing the CCP anthem, and I'm not going to forward his propaganda and filleting of that regime. But that's a big update there. I think it's very material that they are staying together. I mean, this could end up, depending on the situation they get in, where Hank, takes some liability for Johnny, and for people who come a knocking looking for Johnny, may come running into Hank because they're staying together. So it's like you find one, you find both, right? And furthermore, there's documents that are being delivered to this address, and we now know that the address where the documents are being delivered is Hank's address, right? So there's that. So Hank is getting the documents, and it's kind of funny because apparently Hank, who may be getting documents in Korean, is somehow not translating them properly or quick enough to Johnny. So, we know that Hank has received certain documents in Korean and Johnny hasn't known about it. So there may be some lovers quarrels, hopefully that baton doesn't end up in bad places. But it creates a very interesting scenario with Hank and Johnny. Very, very interesting.